Geneva in 1536 had declared itself to be a Protestant city. This was the result of a rather enterprising Frenchman by the name of William Farel. Farel had been sent by the Protestant city of Bern to go and to evangelize the city and see if he couldn't persuade the city council to declare Geneva a Protestant city. In 1536, he was successful. Well, within a couple of months of Geneva declaring itself in favor of the Protestant view, a young 27-year-old John Calvin accidentally made his way to Geneva. I say accidentally because he never intended to go to Geneva. In the summer of 1536, Calvin had just successfully published his great work, The Institutes of the Christian Religion, and it was very well received. Well, Calvin took this as a sign that he should devote his life to writing books for the cause of Protestantism. And he decided that the safest, the best place for him to do this writing was in Strasbourg. So he and his younger brother and younger sister made their way toward Strasbourg in the summer of 1536. And they were well on their way until they noticed there was some fighting going on. There was a military battle taking place. It was part of what's called the Habsburg-Valois Wars. And so Calvin and his younger brother and sister were forced to take a detour they never intended to take, through the city of Geneva. They planned to be in Geneva one single night. So they make their way to Geneva. They find their lodgings. Well, William Farel, who was in the town, had gotten wind. We don't know exactly how he knew, but he heard that the author of the Institutes was in Geneva for one night. And so Farel finds Calvin, goes and meets him, and he says, Calvin, I think you need to stay in Geneva. I think you should not go to Strasbourg and live a quiet, scholarly life and simply write books. Rather, you should stay here with me in Geneva and help me bring about a full-fledged Reformation here in Geneva. Calvin is aghast. He says, oh, no, thank you. Calvin declined, at which point Farel, who was a fiery, red-headed Frenchman, began to scream at him and demand that he stay. And finally, Farel said, I pray that God will curse you if you don't stay. Calvin wrote a letter later on where he said he was so frightened, so stunned by Farel, that he decided to stay in Geneva. I think it would be appropriate to call Calvin the accidental reformer.